Hey binder fans, off-roaders, and unreal adventurers. On today's episode, we're going to talk about all the stuff that I have here and how it all fits inside of Hideous in here. Now, one of the things with the adventure, you're going to get a list of things that you're required to take and things that are suggested that you take. You know, that list is all up in the air. I've been carrying this stuff for a few years now. When I first started Ultimate Adventure in White Scout, right behind me, I know it doesn't look like White Scout, but that's White Scout. First year, Sam Gillis, who's one of the inspectors, him and Keith Bailey are the two that actually will tech your vehicle. And Sammy looked at my stuff and said, "You got too much stuff." And Sammy was right. Second year, I came back and I was all like proud of how much stuff I got rid of. And I'm like, "Look, Sammy, look how much stuff I've got." And he looked at it and just said, "You still got too much stuff." And he's right. And I probably still have too much stuff. And I know, Sammy, you're probably telling me, "Yep, you got too much stuff, Jeff." But anyways, this is, like I said, what I happen to carry on the event. And like I said, some of this is required and some of it is just stuff that I've, through the years, thought I'm going to carry it because it'll help some other adventurer or someone else on the trail. Okay, so starting with the stuff I've already got mounted here in the bed. On the far side, I've got a little 12-volt port thing, and that's where I plug my Dometic fridge into, and it also has an extra port for anything else I might need, real handy. Next to it is my battery box, so the battery is stored in the bed. This, of course, is my fuel tank. It's about a 25-gallon capacity, is about what I've gotten into it. It measures out at about 29, but I've been able to fit a good 25 gallons in it on most refills. Rarely ever had to tap into my spare gas can. For a jack, I've got my high lift jack, and I've had to use it maybe once or twice to do repairs on the truck. I've never had to like swap out a flat on the trail yet. I mean, as you can see, I've been wheeling Hideous all year, and my spare tire, which is also, you're gonna need a full-size spare on the adventure. You can see it's brand new. I haven't had a need for it all year. Also, you'll see I have very specific anchor tie downs in my bed. These are all set up in positions for the stuff that I keep in here, and we're gonna go over that next. All right, guys, so here's the first few things that we're gonna put that, I'm gonna kind of start from the front of the truck and work my way back. So one of the first things I have, this is a foot for my high lift jack. I keep this stored up front, and I'm gonna go put it in my spot. So the next thing I keep is a tire plug kit. So next up I got are these 4 ammo cans, and I keep different things in each one. 2 big ones I keep towards the back, 2 smaller ones I keep a little bit more forward, and I kind of like stack this stuff on importance of chances of what you're gonna need it. In this particular can here, which goes on the bottom, I actually keep a spare sniper in this thing. But in this tote, I do keep spare fan belts. I do keep a spare fuel pump as well, because you never know with this fuel injection if one ever poops on you. So we pack all this stuff up and we'll get that thing put away. All right, in my next box here, what I keep in this one, again, this one's on the top. These are my spare fluids. Extra quart or 2 of oil in here. I've got brake fluid. I've got brake clean. And I got power steering fluid. So I keep those in there, and that's what's in this one. We'll get it wiped down, and we'll get it put back away. Now, before I move on, I do want to say I do have, again, there's anchors on the floor, and I do have specific straps. All that stuff gets strapped down tight into the bed. Last thing you want is anything heavy like that being loose. You roll over. Worst case, hit a bump, your suspension flings up, whatever. You don't want all your stuff being a big party all around you. It's embarrassing, but it's also unsafe. So again, I am going to be going back into here and strapping down all my stuff like I normally do. Moving on to the next one. This is, well, this would be on the bottom. These are parts that I would hope to never need on the trail, but I have them with me anyways. So what I keep in here, a spare brake line. Another little shorty. This is a spare little hose, looks like air hose, just little patch hoses. A spare U-joint for the front axle. Rear axle flange gaskets. O-rings and stuff for the front locking hubs. A spare slave cylinder. A spare tie rod end. A Borgeson steering joint. A ball joint kit. So I'm gonna get this box repacked, stuck it in there, and we'll go over the next little box. All right, this is my little camping box, kind of like why I keep it on top, because this I'll probably get into almost daily. This is one of my 2 little camping boxes. I keep it pretty basic on the adventure. We're only camping for 3 nights. We do a lot of stops on the gas stations and stuff and stores to get food, so you don't need to keep a lot. Now, the cronies, they've got it down to a science. Those guys know how to make a full-on awesome buffet with very little in the middle of nowhere. I still haven't figured out that little science, but for now, this is what I carry. All right, so next up for stuff that I keep in the back of Hideous is this Dometic fridge. In 2019, I bought this fridge for the trip out to Alaska. This thing has been strong as heck. It is great for keeping your food and beverages cold. No worrying about ice during the trip. Great to have, I highly recommend it. And by the way, when you're on UA, watch out for the trash panda, you'll learn more. Some water here. This is a little 2.5 galloner. It's like about perfect size. I used to keep 5 gallons with me. I have found that this is usually sufficient, at least for a day's worth. Always nice to have if you need to clean up after a long day. But anyways, I'm gonna wipe these down real quick and get them strapped in. All right, we got those in. Let's get the next bunch of stuff. I always keep extra tie-down straps. Now, some of this isn't extra. I actually use it to strap some of the stuff down on the very end. All right, next up I got, that you're supposed to keep with you, is an absorbent, like some way to clean up an oil mess. So if you have a leak, diff cover peels back, hit your oil pan, unfortunately. These are absorbent pads. Again, you gotta have some type of spill kit with you on the adventure, but you should just keep one with you in general. And then what these are, what you got left here on this is my year-long chair, except for UA, and my normal chairs. It's nice to have a chair with you camping. Again, it's a luxury. You don't have to, but you can always use your ice chest or something else, toolbox. So let me get these put away and we'll move on to the next item. All right, let's see what's next. Next bunch of tools I got up here, stuff you pretty much always need to have. So this is my air chuck and air gauge. Got my air hose. I do have an onboard air system on the engine. It's a sand-in compressor converted over. For my fuel can, keep a spout, although I've never needed it. I've always used this my little siphon tool. The other thing I didn't keep, but I started putting in the truck about less than a year ago, was this bar. I just found there was a couple times I needed a pry bar, didn't have one, and I keep this thing real handily stored right there. So if I need it, all I gotta do is open the tailgate and that thing slides right out. Super handy to have. In my worn bag here, spill bags and stuff, bead buster, pair of gloves, 2 snatch blocks. That's what I keep here in this bag. And let me get this stuff put away and we'll move on to the next batch of stuff. Next up, I'm gonna go through, this is my little hardware store in a box. So lots of little stuff in here. It's a little husky box I bought at Home Depot. And I'm able to keep a lot of stuff. I keep a lot of hardware in here. Zip ties, a spare coil for my DUI distributor, spare spark plug, pickup and module, all sorts of relays, spare ARB switch, as well as circuit breakers, some rocker switches, Sure, Sammy's going, you still got too much stuff. Spare little basic fuel filter. This is a spare fuel pressure regulator for the sniper. I got spare ignition switch in here, some wire, lots of little brass fittings, U-bolts for our U-joints. Got U-joint straps, I should say, for the U-joints, for the drive shafts here. Got spare bolts for the trail ready bead locks. Got a spare thermostat gaskets, rear axle shaft bolts, brake caliper stuff, all sorts of like special little clamps and AN hose fittings. So that's the top half of this box. That's what I like about this box. And I can snap this shut and I can break these two apart and this comes off. And now I have my bottom in here. Now in the bottom of this, I got a whole bunch of hose clamps in here. I've got stop leak, kind of like your last resort. I've got pellet stuff in here. I've got Loctite in here. I've got RTV in here. So this is kind of like all my small stuff. I even got an empty pocket. I got to find some more stuff. I know Sammy's gonna be mad at me, more stuff, but grease fittings, spare locking hubs, another full service kit for the locking hubs, spring bushings. I've got a couple of helicoil kits in here. This is some little fast steel. Again, I keep JB Quick Weld with me, at least I used to. I think I need to replace that. And then I got my little electrical section here. Heat shrink, bunch of electrical connectors. And in the final box, I have drive shaft U-joints, 2 drive shaft U-joints in this little box. Let me get this stuff packed in and we will move on to my tool bag sitting here next. All right, we move on next to part 1 of 2 on my tools of what I keep. This is my tool bag. It's a little disheveled right now because I was kind of into it last week at Fordyce and I've had yet to kind of go back, clean it up. But these are the tools I keep in it. Got a little heavier hammer and a regular ball peen hammer, Pitman arm puller, crow's foot, and then I've got my big ratchet I'll show you here in a sec on the back for it. And then I've got a wrench in here, so that's how I'll be able to tighten my jam nuts when I'm out on the trail. Wheel bearing nut socket. In pocket number 2, this is where I keep my screwdrivers. I've got Allen wrenches, a magnet, a universal bit kit, along with this little ratcheting snap-on screwdriver. This full-on half-inch socket set. 3/8 ratchet, spare gloves, got wire strippers, a little hand saw, blade for that hand saw, another set of wire strippers, alligator clip, and a Sawzall blade, and another wire crimper. And then in this last pocket, snap ring pliers, tin snips, fancy pair of needle nose, a full regular pliers set, side cutters, got vice grips, channel locks, and a regular pair of pliers. And then on this back side, a nice little fancy 1/4-inch drive ratchet. And then I keep this nice heavy duty 1/2-inch one set up with the socket for the tires. A little pry bar, big old school crescent wrench, some spoons for tires, file, and these are picks. So that is all the stuff I keep in this tool bag. And this is kind of like my toolkit 1 of 2. So I keep stuff in the importance that I may need them. Always into the tool bag, always needing a little nut, bolt, something for people. So again, I keep the stuff I'm going to need more often towards the back, easy to access. This does get strapped in. I've got a special strap for it. Just didn't strap it in at the moment. All right, let's go on to the next stuff I keep in this thing. All right, next bunch of stuff I've got here are my ropes and tow straps for getting out for when you're stuck. I've got a little bit too much right now. I'm going to slim this back for UA. When you're with a big group, everybody's going to have this stuff. So really, I can slim down on this and probably will. I got this nice Bubba Rope tree saver. And then I also have a little bit different length worn version in this bag. So these 2 guys I'll keep in this particular bag. A Bubba Rope, they've been a sponsor the last couple years of UA. Lots of rope shackles, got a few different kinds. Got Bubba, got some Voodoo from previous years. Again, way too much stuff. But again, for UA, I'm going to downsize. But for now, I'm gonna put my stuff away in here and shove it in so you can see where I normally would keep it. And then we'll move on to the next bunch of stuff. All right, let's see what's next. All right, next up on our list of tools here and stuff that we keep is one of these worn little weights for when you're winching. You throw this over the winch rope, and if the rope were to break or something, this is to help you know, let the rope or the cable fall to the ground. Also keep a tarp, little thing of hand cleaner, wipes, regular jet boil, and my coffee. And then this is my regular toolkit. This is a Blue Point toolkit that I bought. Pretty much has dang near everything I need, both standard and metric. Wrenches are in here, full-blown socket set ratchets. So let me get this stuff put away, and we'll move on to basically about the last item that goes in the bed, and then we'll talk about a few of the things, my dry bags, and what I keep in the cab of Hideous. All right, the last two items. So during majority of the year, I keep this old Mac Tools pad. Really nice to flip down on again if I need to get underneath the truck. I'll keep it pretty handy right above the spare tire, or sometimes I'll stow it actually just right there. This I do not keep with me on UA, mostly because don't have the space for it. But during UA, I do have a tent cot. This is made by Camprite, this particular one. Real nice. My sleeping bag is in here. There's a little bit of a thin mat for some comfort. And as soon as I get to camp, lay out my tarp, throw up my tent cot real quick, it unfolds. My sleeping bag's in there. I throw in my clothes bag. And I mean, I could be, as soon as we get into the camp, within 15 minutes to bed if it's one of them late nighters and stuff. Tent cot will go right above the spare tire. This thing I'm going to leave out because it will not be going with us. And we will move on. I'm going to use my tailgate to show you what I keep inside Hideous. So everything you see here on my tailgate is what I actually keep inside the cab of Hideous for the most part of the year. Again, during UA, I'll usually lose these bags in favor of so that Zaid has room for his stuff to go in, because normally I keep these behind the passenger seat. So let me start on this end over here and kind of discuss some of the things I keep. So on the dash, I always just keep another set of worn gloves for winching. My cell phone charger cord, digital voltmeter, glass cleaner, and towels because my windshield's always getting dirty. Norco jump box, power probe, a roll of duct tape, some electrical tape, a little bag of hand wipes. Everybody needs your fire extinguishers. I keep one on each side of the cab of the truck, one for the passenger, one for the driver. Also a necessity for UA to have these, so always have fire extinguishers with me. Bug repellent, coveralls, headsets for the UHF radio. As part of UA, you are to have a race radio in your truck, a can of oxygen, a little extra water bottle, plastic bag. I keep a towel in here, keep a set of socks, a warm beanie, and I got a big old jacket in here. Trash bags, through a set of wiper blades, canned koozies, you never know. Got a can of bear spray, still left over from Alaska. Always important to keep a couple wag bags with you. You never know when you got to do a number 2. Got my winch controller. This is always right next to me. Handy wipes I always keep right next to me. I'm always just getting dirty, kind of like how I am now, just by handling this stuff. Emergency poncho, 2 first aid kits, tree permit, and a map of the Rubicon. And you never know when you need a spork set up. Always keep a nice handy set of utensils for eating. I'm sure I may have missed some stuff that's on the UA list of particular, but this kind of really covers it. You know, this is what will get you in the trail and out and have what you need for camping and extractions and all that. Hope you learned something today. I hope again you decide to sign up for this it's Unreal adventure. Again, it's been taken over. It's still UA, same bunch of great group of guys. What a great experience. So sign up. They've already, as of the filming of this video, have picked out their top 12. So congrats to the Dirty Dozen. We'll see out of those Dirty Dozen who gets to go with us, and then what returning reader or invitee, or we don't know what we're going to be calling those guys. But anyways, it's awesome to be back again for UA's the official IH Scout and Truck parts supplier. And it's awesome that Skyjacker's coming back, and they're also going to be the presenting sponsor, and Quigley is back. with our drive lines, and off-road design is back at the official transfer case, and we hope to, I hear, add maybe a couple more sponsors to this trip. So anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you like it. Keep checking on our Facebook and our Instagram accounts for other updates, and you all have a great day.